In the study of advanced behavior, there is a dangerous class of social predators. Narcissists, sadists, and toxic bullies don't just cross your boundaries, they actively enjoy the process of hurting you. They feed on your visible distress, your tears, your desperate explanations, and your shaking voice. To them, your pain is the ultimate validation of their absolute control over your life. Most people make a critical mistake when targeted by these predators. They fight back with anger, screaming matches, or deep emotional defenses. They try to explain how much they've been hurt, hoping to touch a conscience that simply does not exist. But a malicious person is completely prepared for your anger and your sadness. In fact, they want it. Your emotional reaction is the exact drug they are looking for. However, there is a dark psychology secret that these predators desperately try to hide from you. There is a single, highly strategic behavioral response that completely breaks their power matrix. It doesn't involve trading insults or screaming, yet it strikes directly at their deepest, most primitive psychological vulnerability, turning their toxic game into a total nightmare. Today, you are going to learn how to deploy this exact weapon. We are breaking down the behavioral physics of sadistic manipulation and giving you the precise protocol to make a predator panic in under 10 seconds. To understand why this response is so terrifying to a malicious person, we must look at the concept of emotional narcissistic supply. Predators do not operate in a vacuum. Every toxic move they make, every cruel insult, passive-aggressive dig, or public humiliation is a calculated investment. They are investing energy, and they expect an immediate psychological payout. If you get angry and shout, you prove that they have the power to control your mood. If you cry or look hurt, you prove that they are important enough to devastate your self-esteem. Either way, they win. But what happens when you completely deny them that payout? What happens when their toxic behavior lands on you and yields absolutely zero emotional resonance? The one thing people who enjoy hurting others fear more than anything else is clinical, deadpan indifference paired with pity. They do not fear your hatred, because hatred is still an intense form of attention. They fear your utter lack of interest. They fear being treated as completely insignificant, irrelevant, and pathologically small. When you treat their malice not as a threat, but as a pathetic, childish cry for attention, you completely shatter their perceived status in the relationship. You turn them from an intimidating monster into a minor, boring inconvenience. Executing this response requires complete, unshakable behavioral discipline. It is broken down into a precise 3-step protocol that you must memorize. Step number 1 is the clinical visual scan. The exact millisecond they say something cruel to you, do not flinch, do not change your breathing pattern, and do not drop your gaze. Instead, adopt a completely blank expression. Look at them the exact same way a scientist looks at a microscopic bacterium under a lens. Slowly scan their eyes, move your gaze down to their chin, and back up to their forehead. This silent, analytical look completely breaks their flow. It tells their subconscious mind that you are evaluating them rather than being frightened by them. Step number 2 is the flatline validation. When they finish their toxic statement, expecting you to get defensive, you give them a flat, mildly bored acknowledgement. Use phrases like, "Okay, I hear you," or "if you say so." Deliver the line with the absolute boredom of a corporate employee reading a manual. Do not argue the facts. Do not try to correct their lies. By simply saying, "Okay," you treat their toxic opinion as completely worthless information that doesn't even deserve a real response. Step number 3 is the pity dismissal. This is where the trap snaps shut. After delivering your flatline validation, you hit them with a tiny wave of cold, detached pity and immediately remove your attention. Look at them with a slight, calm tilt of your head and say completely softly, "You seem to be carrying a lot of anger inside you today. I hope things get better for you." The absolute moment those words leave your mouth, look back down at your phone, turn your shoulders away, or walk completely out of the room to talk to someone else. Do not wait for a comeback. This is absolute psychological checkmate. You have reframed their aggressive attack as an embarrassing sign of their own personal weakness and misery. By giving them pity and instantly removing your presence, you leave them entirely alone in the void of their own pathetic malice. True power over a social predator is never won by fighting on their level. It is won by refusing to acknowledge that their level even matters. A bully can only pull your strings if you keep holding onto the ropes. The next time someone tries to hurt you for their own emotional pleasure, put your hands in your pockets, stand tall in your white sneakers, execute the visual scan, drop the pity dismissal, and let them starve in the dark void of their own insecurity. You hold the sovereign armor now. Never let them steal your peace. If you want to keep building your psychological defenses and mastering the hidden laws of human behavior, protect your mind by hitting that subscribe button right now. Stay aware, stay safe.